AI writing movie scripts? Can you believe that's a thing? Saw an article the other day. Totally wild. Seems like this whole generative AI thing is exploding. Suddenly it's everywhere.
It's exciting, isn't it? And it's way more than just analyzing data now. It's actually creating this book, Generative AI for Beginners. It does a really good job of, breaking it down into understandable chunks.
So instead of Netflix just recommending what to watch, it's going to start writing and directing its own stuff.
Well, maybe not quite yet. But think of it this way. Instead of just suggesting a movie based on what you've watched before, generative AI could, in theory, create an entirely original film. Script, characters, you name it.
Okay, now that's a Netflix recommendation I can get behind.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? What even is generative AI?
Right. Getting into it. It's not just one thing. Think of it like different flavors of AI. You've got text generation, like those AI writing tools. You've got image generation.
Oh, right. Like those AI art generators that everyone's talking about.
Exactly. And there's also audio generation. Even video generation is starting to emerge.
Wow. So it really is a whole new world.
It is. And all of these different flavors rely on these powerful things called neural networks.
Okay, neural networks. Now we're getting to the part that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it can sound pretty intimidating, right? But the book gives this analogy that helps. Imagine you're teaching a parrot to talk. You just keep repeating a phrase over and over, and through repetition, through that reinforcement, the parrot eventually learns to mimic your voice.
Okay, so are you saying we're just teaching computers to talk by feeding them a bunch of data?
Kind of. These neural networks, they analyze massive amounts of data, like huge amounts of text, images, music, and they learn to identify the patterns within all that data.
So like if you feed it 1,000 hours of Mozart, it could start composing its own classical music.
That's the idea. It's not just randomly throwing notes together. It's using what it's learned from analyzing all that Mozart to create something new, but within that same style.
That's pretty amazing. The book also talks about these AI image generators, like Bing Image Creator, where you type in a description and it just creates a picture.
Yeah.
That sounds like pure magic to me.
It does seem magical, doesn't it? But again, it all comes down to those neural networks. In this case, the AI has been trained on like a gigantic library of images and captions. So when you type in something like, say, sunset over a mountain lake, it uses those keywords as a starting point. Then it references all the patterns it's learned from those images and captions to generate something new.
So it's not just copying and pasting, it's actually using what it's learned to create something original.
Precisely. And the crazy thing is, this technology is evolving so rapidly. Remember a few years ago when those early language models could barely string together a coherent sentence?
Oh, I remember those. They'd start off strong and then just completely go off the rails.
Exactly. It's incredible how far we've come. Just look at something like ChatGPT. It can hold a pretty decent conversation. It can write different types of creative text formats. It can even answer your questions in a pretty informative way.
It really is mind-blowing. But how did we go from those early kind of clunky bots to something as advanced as ChatGPT? What's the engine driving this AI revolution?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. We're talking about LLMs and Transformers.
LLMs and Transformers, huh?
Hmm.
Those are some pretty sci-fi terms. Feels like we should be talking about this on a spaceship or something.
I know what you mean. But don't worry, you don't need a degree in computer science to understand the basics. Think about those autocomplete features we were just talking about, the ones on your phone.
Yeah.
Where it tries to predict the next word you're going to type.
Yeah, like, hey, want to grab some, and it'll suggest pizza or something.
Exactly. LLMs, which stands for large language models, are kind of like that, but on a much, much larger scale. They've been trained on these massive, massive amounts of text data, and they use that to learn the patterns, the relationships between words.
So instead of finishing my sentences, these LLMs are writing whole novels.
Pretty much. Well, not exactly novels, but you get the idea. They've become amazingly good at generating text. It's not just about predicting the next word anymore. It's about understanding the context, the meaning of the entire sentence, even the whole paragraph, and then using that understanding to create something new.
That's pretty wild. Okay, so we've covered LLMs. What about these Transformers? That sounds like where the robots in disguise come in.
Well, maybe not robots in disguise, but the name is quite fitting. Remember earlier when we were talking about how our brains make connections between different parts of a text to understand the meaning? Well, Transformers do something very similar.
You mean like, I'm trying to follow this conversation right now, making connections between all these different AI concepts.
Exactly. Transformers use this mechanism called attention. It basically means that the model can focus on different parts of the input text all at the same time, kind of like how we do when we're reading. It doesn't just process information word by word, it can actually connect different parts of a sentence, even different sentences together, to understand the context, the relationships between them.
Okay, so say I'm reading a mystery novel, and the detective is trying to piece together clues from different chapters, different parts of the story. The Transformer is kind of doing the same thing with words and sentences, right? Looking for those connections, trying to solve the mystery of language.
That's a great way to put it. And it's this attention mechanism that allows them to do things like translate languages so accurately or summarize complex information in a way that actually makes sense. They're not just matching words, they're understanding the meaning behind the words. The book actually has a diagram to illustrate how this works.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. It's a bit complicated.
It is pretty complex. The important thing to remember is this. Transformers have revolutionized how AI processes language. It's a complete game changer.
So is that how these AI tools are generating things so quickly these days? Because they're basically super speed readers that also understand what they're reading.
You got it. Exactly. Because they can process information in parallel all at the same time. Instead of just word by word, they're able to generate text much faster and in a way that's more coherent, more human-like. It's like having a whole team of expert readers working on different parts of a text simultaneously.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. We went from parrot training to super speed readers in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. So we've kind of peeked under the hood of generative AI. We've seen the engine. Now I want to know, what can you actually do with this thing? What are some real-world examples of this technology in action?
Now that is the exciting part, the applications. And this is where the book Generative AI for Beginners really shines because it's packed with examples.
So spill the beans.
Yeah.
What are some of the coolest applications you came across? So spill the beans. What are some of the coolest applications you came across?
Well, where do you even begin, right? There are so many. The book really dives into how this technology is impacting all sorts of fields.
I know, it's really got my head spinning thinking about it.
Healthcare, for one, is being completely transformed by generative AI.
Yeah, the book touched on that a bit, right?
It did. It talked about how these AI models can analyze a patient's medical history, all their data, and help come up with personalized treatment plans.
It's like having a team of doctors working behind the scenes, trying to figure out the best approach for each individual patient.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. They're also using generative AI to speed up drug discovery. Imagine that.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. It's incredible.
It's groundbreaking. Instead of researchers spending years in the lab, they can now use AI to analyze these huge data sets of molecules, and that helps them identify potential new drugs much faster.
It's like accelerating the whole research process, which is amazing when you think about the potential impact on, developing new treatments for diseases.
Absolutely. It's revolutionary. And it's not just healthcare, This technology is popping up everywhere you look. The book highlighted how it can be used to create really compelling product descriptions for e-commerce.
Really? So those snappy descriptions that make you want to click buy now?
Yeah.
Those could be written by AI?
They could be. And think about education. Personalized learning materials tailored to each student's needs. Generative AI can do that.
Wow, it's like having a personal tutor for every single student.
It really is. And if you're into video games or movies, even the music you're hearing could be composed by AI now.
No way. That's crazy. So we could have AI writing the script, directing the actors, and even scoring the soundtrack.
We might get there one day. It's amazing, isn't it? This technology truly has the potential to revolutionize pretty much every aspect of our lives.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
Well, it's important to remember that generative AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. We have to be aware of the potential downsides, too.
Okay, so what are the risks?
One of the big ones is misinformation. Imagine someone using AI to generate fake news articles or social media posts.
And these posts are so well written, so convincing, that people can't even tell they're fake.
Exactly. That's a scary thought. And it's not just about spreading lies. It could also be used to manipulate people, to influence elections, all sorts of things.
So we can't just blindly trust everything these AI models generate, right?
Exactly. It's crucial that we develop safeguards, ethical guidelines, to make sure this technology is used responsibly.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how we as a society choose to use it.
100%.
Yeah.
We need to be having these conversations, these debates about the ethical implications of this technology.
Well, that's definitely a lot to think about. As we wrap up this deep dive into generative AI, what's the key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with today?
Generative AI has the potential to do incredible things, to solve some of the world's biggest problems. But it also comes with some very real risks. It's on all of us to educate ourselves about this technology, to use it responsibly, and to make sure it's developed and used ethically.
Well said. And for anyone listening who wants to explore this topic further, Generative AI for Beginners by Kulkarni, and Gudivada is a fantastic place to start. It's an easy read, very accessible, and it covers all the basics plus some really fascinating real-world applications.
It's definitely a must-read for anyone who wants to understand where AI is headed and how it's going to impact our world.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and as always, stay curious.